Hello, tonight, as well as new appeals, we've got some fascinating feedback on old ones. Viewers are always keen to know what happens to our cases, but if someone's arrested, there's a sort of news blackout until the case has gone to court. So usually we can't tell you much about what happened from last month, except to say, as one example, a man's been charged with rape. But whenever we can, we try and take you behind the scenes of investigations and how they were resolved in different ways by people watching Crimewatch.
Well, our first solved case is a classic, a long police inquiry transformed by a simple call after a photograph was shown on Crimewatch. But it shows, above all, two stubborn police officers refusing for 4 years to give up the search for a man who wrecked the life of a colleague. All three officers worked for the Port of Dover police until one of them was tragically injured one Saturday night in November 1993.
Saturday night's a very busy time in the port. Very, very busy. Nearly every 5 minutes you got a ferry coming in and unloading people. It's like Piccadilly Circus.
It was the start of Rick Wilson's shift. A ferry had just docked and some of the passengers had been making the most of the duty-free.
Excuse me, mate. Where's the car park? You want the green one or the red one? Green. Come on. I hope you're not driving. No way, mate.
And I didn't think much more of it. I just left it. I thought, well, a couple of drunks and that's it.
Come on, Pop, we'll take the train. It's easy. We'll take the train.
It's probably gone already, okay? You want to take the train? Hurry up, right?
Control, traffic warden, green car park, possible drink driver, White Sierra, on the move.
Hello, sir, would you mind switching off the ignition and stepping out of the car, please?
Why?
Because I believe you've been drinking.
Oh, you must be joking.
Foxtrot 25 Sierra Hotel Mike is taking off from the scene, over.
What's that?
And you could see it in his eye. And anything that was in his way, tough.
You got a copper on the roof!
Stop the car, stop!
I was terrified, zigzagging through juggernauts and Christ knows what. And I was just clinging on for life, and I thought to myself, well, if I get thrown, I'm dead.
Turn off! Hands off the wheel!
Where are you hurt? You banged your head. Put your hands on top of the car.
Robert Flanagan was charged with drink driving, dangerous driving, resisting arrest and wounding with intent.
Lie still. Lie still. Where do you hurt?
Rick Wilson suffered back and leg injuries and his health has never properly recovered.
It just affected my whole life, because I knew that I couldn't do the job again. I was on the point of suicide.
Despite the grave charges, Robert Flanagan was given bail. When he failed to turn up in court, he was found but bailed again. Again he disappeared, again he was found, again he was bailed and vanished. Cliff Libby was in charge of the case, and Alan Warren, who joined the job on the same day as Rick, offered his help.
A lot of time it was when I was off duty, on my rest days. You know, we had to work like that, and it wasn't a problem.
We knew he liked bar work, and we knew that he came from London. And we went round looking for him.
It was really disappointing, but every time we went to a different pub, we just had a, right, he's going to be in here. But of course he wasn't.
So I knew everything about him, knew what he'd been up to, where he lived. I felt that I was one step behind him all the time.
Working largely on their own initiative, the two detectives never seemed to get much closer until December 1995.
We tracked him down to one pub by a series of phone calls. Hello.
Hello.
We're from the police at Dover.
Bob Flanagan, we know he's staying here. Where is he?
Yeah, Bob he was here. He's with his girlfriend.
Where's he gone? Do you know?
I've no idea. He was over there about 10 minutes ago.
You don't know where he's gone at all?
No, you must have just missed him.
Do you mind if we have a word?
And he knew after that, for sure, that we were after him.
Through much of 1996, Bob Flanagan and his girlfriend seemed to be on the south coast, but seaside towns were targeted with no success. They even tried to lure the couple with a false job advert tailored just for them, but there was no response.
Alan and Cliff never gave up. They never gave up. Every time I spoke to them, they were like medicine to me, because where I used to be desperate, they used to just say, Rick, we'll get it.
Oh, no, we can go back to our original...
But frankly, the inquiry had run into the sand. Curiously, it was a local MP who came up with the idea, why not turn to Crimewatch?
And now on the track of people wanted for equally serious offences, here's Superintendent David Hatcher.
Yes, this is Robert Flanagan. He's 30, medium build, blue eyes, and if he hasn't dyed it, brown receding hair. He used to have a ponytail and a beard, though of course he might not have them now.
Several calls led to Essex, 2 to an address that had been hurriedly abandoned. Then they found a forwarding address. Within 24 hours, Cliff had the lead that had evaded him for 4 years.
Done me a great favour. Thanks very much. Thanks. Cheers, bye. Alan? What? Come here, I've got some good news, I think.
The new address was in Great Yarmouth. With a key from the landlady, the police quietly let themselves in.
Who are you? I'm Detective Constable Botwright from Great Yarmouth CID. Are you Robert Flanagan? No. I think you are, Robert. Stay there. You're under arrest on suspicion of attempt murder. Oh, you took your time, didn't you? Thought I'd cover me tracks. How'd you find me? Good detective work, Robert.
When they told me that they'd actually arrested him, it was like watching England score a goal in the World Cup. I leapt off the seat. I was really pleased, obviously. It was great.
I thought, oh, brilliant, we've got him. 3 years sorted. Jumped in the car, went straight up there at the end of Alan's shift.
Oh, hello, Mr. Libby. Oh, yeah, congratulations are in order.
He was so cocky. He said, oh, you only just got me. Next week I was off to Ireland.
It was like winning the pools. It was like a phone call saying, you've just won £1 million.
He was highly excited and shouting, well done. I knew you two would do it. Well done. That was the start of his coming to terms with things.
In June last year, 4 years after he was first arrested, Robert Flanagan was found guilty of drink driving and wounding with intent. He's now serving a 4-year term in prison.
Now we need your help to solve a very nasty attack that happened at the Elephant and Castle roundabout in South London. A passer-by was hit from behind and badly injured. Here you can plainly see 3 youths, though a girl who'd been with them has disappeared. They're all about 20, similar height, 5'9", with London accents. This one's a skinhead, fair, slim build with slightly pointed features. The next, medium build, dark crimped hair and with a softer accent. And the third, light-skinned but not mixed race, and his hair was plaited against his head. He tried to calm the situation. We need to find them all, so call us here in the studio on 0500 600 600 or call the local police on 0171 232 6126. That's 0171 232 6126.
Next, a robbery and an indecent assault that could have ended very, very badly. As you'll see, the victim fought back and her attackers ran away. It happened at night 3 months ago on Thursday the 14th of May in Uxbridge, outside London.
I was driving up North Common Road, and as I pulled up to the driveway that I wanted to pull into, there was a young man walking very, very slowly. And I was getting a bit irritated, a bit annoyed, because I was stuck in the middle of the road. He looked round slowly, didn't make any attempt to run across to get out of my way, just carried on mooching along.
What's he up to? Suspicious looking character out there. And I thought, is he tampering with the pillar box?
I'd been at a meeting in London and I came back to Uxbridge with a friend.
Yeah, well, we're thinking about going to France this year, actually.
Oh, France, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think so, down to the Dordogne or something.
I was tired and I was just wanting to go home. And I walked back to the Civic Centre. My car was parked in the car park.
Oh, no, thanks, that'd be nice.
All right,
Cheers.
I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
I'd had some letters in my bag which I'd meant to post earlier on in the day. I hadn't got round to it, so I decided to do it then, and that was it. It was finished, and I wouldn't have to think about it the next day.
Give me your money! Oh. Come on, give me your ring!
When I saw the knife, I knew I wasn't going to really have much control over what happened, but I knew that it was going to be really important to remember as much of the detail as I could.
And now your watch, come on, give me your watch!
He was tall, about 5'10", 6 foot, slim but muscular. Because I was looking up at him, I could see details of his face. He had tribal scars on one cheek, very short haircut because you couldn't see any hair underneath the baseball cap. I'd been scared beforehand, and when he started to touch me, I got angry, and I thought, no, you can rob me, you can take the jewellery, but you're not going to touch me. You don't have a right to touch me.
Give me this necklace, I want this necklace.
Not the necklace, please.
Give me the necklace before I cut you.
So I kicked him. And I think that's what shocked him. He was just doing it from the basis of he had a knife and it was power. And I wasn't going to let him have that power over me.
There are lots of clues. Please shop these two before they do something worse. The man with the knuckle duster with a blade is African, about 18, 5'10" to 6 feet tall. He's slim but athletic. His trainers, you might have noticed, had flashing lights in the soles. His companion was Asian, maybe a bit younger, certainly shorter. Maybe the taller one was in the area in early May when a student was dragged into a field by an African man who tried to rape her. If you've any idea who that African is with tribal markings, please call 0500 600 600 or the incident room on 0181 246 1541. That's 0181 246 1541.
In the Dover hit-and-run case, the suspect, as we saw, skipped bail. Tonight we've another case where this has happened, and this time it's over some very serious sexual allegations which go back over 20 years. This man is Peter Derek Jones, though he was once called Peter Ansell. He's 42 but looks older, medium height, stocky, with brown hair going grey. He may have shaved off that moustache, but can't disguise a scar below his right eye. Peter Derek Jones comes from Worthing in Sussex, but could be anywhere tonight. Do call on 0500 600 600 or ring Worthing Police on 01243 843 505. 01243, that's the code for Bognor Regis, 843 505. Well, and now news from last month. Two men who saw Crimewatch gave themselves up. On one, over 100 people rang, saying a man we sought was in Ireland, and then a solicitor said a man would travel back to England and hand himself over. Well, he did. And another man has been identified and traced to a hospital.
But we have an apology to make. Apparently one of the photos we showed last month, this one of a man called Mark O'Connell, is deeply unflattering. Mr. O'Connell, who's being sought in connection with an abduction, was apparently displeased. We know this because, astonishingly, Ian Ronald Tucker, who's also wanted for the same offence, rang the police officer to have a chat. But the police still think these are pretty good pictures, and if you've seen either of these men, please give us a ring, 0500 600 600.
And news of a recent court case. 2 years ago, we showed a plaster reconstruction of a head. Well, it was so accurate that several viewers recognised the victim. He'd been found in a shallow grave on a farm in Hampshire. Well, within a month, the man was firmly identified as Harjeet Singh Luther from Essex. Inquiries quickly revealed family discord, and last month his wife's lover was convicted of his murder.
Watch out if you work in a shop or dispatch company. Someone in Essex set up a bogus company and ordered goods on credit. Then they vanished without paying. This distinctively big man called himself Dave and drove round collecting goods. Here, a consignment worth over £20,000 from a computer wholesaler. The company used a curtain-sided Ford with a white cab and Town FM roadshow on the sides. They were the previous owners. Have you seen this vehicle recently? And if you know Dave or the company directors who called themselves Giles O'Connor and Ronnie Chapman, call 0500 600 600 or ring Essex Police Direct on 01245 452 120. That's Chelmsford 452 120.
Crimewatch viewers often add the clues that identify a suspect, but now another case where the main detective work had already been done before Crimewatch was involved. There'd been a murder. Detectives thought they knew the likely killer, but they had to find him.
Well, it was a Saturday morning and I arrived at this house in Chiswick, a very large house, and obviously not seen a lick of paint for some years. And when I got to the room at the top, it was a creepy room.
I'm sorry. Your brother's been dead for a couple of days. When did you find him?
This morning.
Don't you live here?
Yes, but I don't see him every day.
I think we should phone the police.
The phone is downstairs.
The sister didn't show any emotion at all or didn't ask me any questions, which all seemed a bit bizarre.
The dead man was Jan Polak, a 67-year-old Polish émigré who'd lived in Britain for 40 years. The post-mortem would reveal 35 bruises and lacerations.
My first impression was that he'd probably been attacked on the way home and maybe robbed, but he'd managed to stagger home and somehow put himself to bed and died in bed overnight.
Morning. Morning. Morning, Brian.
Morning.
All right to go in?
Yeah, should be
But
fine.
my gut feeling was things weren't quite right. You've got to bear in mind that Jan had a lot of injuries.
There's blood on the edge of the table here. Pinpricks of blood.
Does that help?
We came to this country in 1948. Jan went up to Scotland to live and work, and then he came to live with me.
When did you see him last?
I saw him last on Thursday. He left to go to the pub to drink and to play pool.
Which pubs did he drink at?
I don't know.
Hello, I'm DC Matthews. Could I have a quick chat?
Yeah, sure, come in.
So, Brian, what have you got for me?
Well, for starters, you see there's hair on it, not just blood. Jan got his head injury from the table. He was attacked right here. There's blood all over the floor, and the chemicals have brought this out.
Well, they're footprints of trainers.
Yes.
And there's no trainers in the house.
Nope.
So they must be the attackers.
Right.
The 7th of November.
Thursday last week?
Yeah.
It was late in the evening. I was already asleep, and this noise woke me up.
Well, what noise?
Well, it sounded like two men were arguing.
Always you want to come home here.
And they were loud enough to get me out of bed.
You've got your own place to go to.
I'm not going halfway across London at this time of night.
Yes, you are. That's not how you're...
Amelia said I could stay.
Amelia.
I also heard running water. My room's pretty close to their bathroom. It was odd because it sounded like somebody was running a bath, but without putting the plug in.
Did you hear him come in at night time?
No, I lock my door each evening when he is drunk. Sometimes he becomes aggressive.
Aggressive in the pub?
I think sometimes he was thrown out of the pub.
It was about 2 weeks ago. Had a small party. Wasn't that loud, really, but the old boy complained.
Gee-ho! The music is too loud.
The other bloke didn't say a word.
What was this guy like?
Younger, much younger than Jan.
Polizie!
But they seem as though they're good friends.
His friends? Who were his friends?
He never brought anybody back. We don't have visitors.
And what did you do on the Friday?
I cooked him fish. He was not there when it was ready, so I put it under the grill. And the next morning, I found him. I loved him like a son.
So nothing was unusual?
From Thursday during the evening until the time I discovered Yannick, I never heard anything in the house, nor no one came to see me.
I think you better see this. There's blood all the way down. The door would always certainly have been open.
Whose room is it?
It's Amelia's room.
Right. Well, we'll have to search the whole house from top to bottom, starting tomorrow morning.
We could prove that Amelia was lying. But why was she lying? That's what we wanted to know. The fact that her brother had received over 30 different injuries, but yet she was still telling lies about what had happened. And of course the immediate thing was, who was she trying to protect? We established that a man called Simon Richards had been arrested for paint spraying, and on his arrest he'd given the address of 31 Esmond Road. We dug a little deeper into Simon Richards and found out that he got another address in Surbiton. Simon Richards was in fact Edward Adler and the nephew of Jan Pollack.
I'm from the police. You're Amelia's sister. Can I come in? When did you hear about Jan's death?
On Saturday, Amelia phoned me. She said there had been a tragedy, that Jan had died. I went round to her house. I went up the stairs to the attic room. Jan was on the bed. He had a wound on his head. He was an alcoholic. He always came in with wounds. I told Amelia to phone the doctor and to call the police.
Did you notice any other injuries?
He was covered with a white sheet.
And your son?
My son?
Did your son ever visit Amelia?
He saw my sister quite often. They got on well.
And last week? Did he visit Amelia last week?
He stayed there early in the week and came back on Wednesday.
Oh, so he was here on Thursday when Jan died?
Yes. He slept here Thursday night.
Do you have a photograph of him?
No.
You don't have a photograph of your son?
No.
Hiya.
Hi.
Do you mind if I put a poster up?
No problem. Cheers. Poor old Jan.
Yeah, poor old Jan.
What, did you know him?
Yeah, he used to drink in here a couple of times a week. Known him a few years. Yeah, he's a friendly old boy. Gentleman. Never raised his voice. Everybody liked him.
The day he died, he was playing pool in here.
That night, he played with that young bloke.
What young bloke?
Oh, I don't know, he used to get in here every so often. Irritating type. Drinking specials that night. Got very agitated.
Come on, take shot.
No, I've had enough.
Come on, take shot.
No, I want to go.
Take one last
I
shot.
actually said to Tom, should we let Jan go home with that young bloke?
And?
Well, it's Jan's nephew, so...
Jan's nephew?
Where's your son?
He's gone.
Where?
I don't know where.
Come on, Bron. We know he was there that Thursday night with Jan. And tell me what happened.
Edward had a bruise on his face. Stupid stuff. He said they had a fight, an argument.
Tell me what happened.
Edward didn't mean to hurt Jan. It was the accident.
Well, stay there! Yes, I'll tell you. I've had enough. Get out of here. I'm not going anywhere. Go.
He was still here when you came last week. We talked about giving himself up to the police, but the next day he left. He was frightened. He didn't want to go to prison. And that night he phoned to say, I can't live without you. He was very sad. I'm very worried. He hasn't made contact since then. That was over a week ago now.
We now got our main suspect, Edward Adler. I knew that he could be a violent man because of the severe injuries that had been inflicted on Jan. but with no starting point to try and find him. He'd no friends, he'd never worked. We obviously did the checks at all airports and ports to see if he'd left the country. We didn't know where he'd gone to.
His nephew had been staying with him, but he's since disappeared.
Yeah, it's you, mate.
That's not me. That could be anyone.
Easy.
It's not
Edward
me.
Adler immediately walked out of the youth hostel where he'd been staying in North London. But someone from the hostel phoned the incident room. So next month, Crimewatch reappealed. It was a murder, and it's thought he saw himself on Crimewatch, but he's disappeared. Please call us. This time, the programme caused a reaction on Tyneside, where an off-duty detective had been working in the custody suite at the police station that day.
Jesus, it's him.
If you've seen him, please ring us right away. 0500 600 600 or call
It's Stacey Gibson. I need the custody sergeant, John. John, is that you? The person that was arrested for the Bedford Ford and Wallsend today. Have you still got him? Great, yeah. He's wanted for murder. I'm coming straight down. See ya.
You're Edward Adler, aren't you?
No, I'm Mark Falshall.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see what happens when we check your fingerprints, right?
Confirmed as Edward Adler.
Great.
Right. When he comes down, I want you two to interview him.
Okay.
Right. I didn't mean to kill him. It was an accident. But he had over 30 injuries. Did you punch him? Yeah, maybe. How many times? 7, 8, maybe 10. So you knew he was dead then? No. Well, when did you know he was dead? It was on a Saturday. I went back to the house, and there were police everywhere. And I got frightened. What did you do? We dragged him up the stairs. We? Who's we? Amelia had hold of his legs. I took him to the bathroom, and I washed him. Then I took him back to his bedroom. I kept saying, wake up, wake up.
Edward Adler pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced at the Old Bailey to 5 years. Last month, on appeal, the sentence was reduced to 3 years.
So far, there's been no breakthrough on any of the reconstructions we did last month, but we took in a vast amount of information, and in at least one case, an arrest is imminent. We had so many calls on the rape in Dewsbury that West Yorkshire Police have had to expand the investigating team. And some 250 calls are being followed up on the kidnap in Aylesbury, where a bank manager's girlfriend was abducted from her home. These are 2 faces being sought. Can you link them with 3 vehicles? A grey Maestro van with a yellow interior stolen from High Wycombe but now recovered, a white Ford Transit, or a red old-style 3 Series BMW. A reminder, there's a £25,000 reward here. 0500 600 600.
And an unexpected outcome of a bid to get an anonymous informant called back. It was over the Royal Mail van robbery in Surrey. We never heard from the original source, but we did hear from someone else. As a direct result, 2 men have been arrested.
Death by dangerous driving causes a strong sense of outrage. Imagine then the anguish when a suspect is given bail and breaks it. This man, Shane Michael Waldy, disappeared around last Christmas after a dreadful car crash in Carlisle in Cumbria. An elderly woman was killed and her companion severely injured and is now disabled. Shane Waldy was charged. If you've seen him anywhere, do call us right now on 0500 600 600 or ring Cumbria Police on 01768 891 999. That's Penrith 891 999.
And now another glimpse behind the scenes, how Crimewatch viewers influence police inquiries. Often it turns out they've been witnesses and have crucial recollections, but frequently they add a clue which seems quite trivial to them, but which for the detectives helps to clinch the case. And that's what happened in a series of armed robberies in Yorkshire. Because the first attacks were on betting shops, the police called their inquiry Operation Red Rum.
Is it all right?
Oh, I think so, yeah.
Oh, that's smashing. That's bad going.
Give me the money! Don't turn round! Don't turn round! I want the money from the tills and the safe. Get down. Get down on the floor! Kneel down!
Things that was going through my mind was just do as he says. I'm not risking my life. I've got a husband and 2 lovely girls at home.
There must be more. I need
And I
more
thought
money.
to just throw all this away, it isn't worth it.
Where's the safe? Don't turn round. Don't look at me. The safe. Where is it?
It's in the back in the office.
Come on. You stay there, Blondie. Get up. Up!
So, another one. The 15th attack so far. Sue, check all the security cameras in all the shops. Find any more witnesses and let me have the statement straight away.
Yes, sir.
Good. Dave, concentrate on the proactive measures, the observation and the cars. Make sure everything you do goes on an action form for the computer. Get out there, speak to your informants. Let's find out who suddenly come into money.
When I took over the investigation with very little hard evidence, one of the positive features was a plastic gun and some plastic glasses which he'd left behind in a waste bin at an attack which had gone wrong. He'd locked himself in the toilets, intending to go down to the shop premises. He'd left it too late and actually got locked in the shop.
Come on!
Staff heard him and he was rescued, but they were suspicious, and the next day they found the glasses and the plastic gun and called in the police. They in turn called in a psychiatrist, Dr. Richard Badcock.
It was clear from fairly early on that it wasn't just the money he was after. He was also after things to do with self-assertion. So as the series went on, an important part of the payback was the way he felt during and after the robbery.
This is a man who would target women that were working alone. He would usually go to the premises at the close of business. He was very forceful in his demands, and they were obviously terrified and traumatised by it.
I've got the money. I'm going now. Now you stay there and don't move. Start counting. Louder!
Although the offences covered quite a wide geographical area, it became clear by looking at the pattern of them that his base area, as it were, was contained within a small area: Ferrybridge, Pontefract and Wakefield.
4 more betting shops. York, Wakefield, back to York, then full circle to Wakefield again. 4 bookies in 12 days, almost 3 grand in total stolen. Carl.
The offender profile just suggests he'll be in North Yorkshire this weekend. We got surveillance out, we got cameras, we got marked units, and we got beats officers.
The tension was building up nicely. There was a real air of anticipation that our boy Benny was going to walk straight into the trap. And then disaster struck. He struck at Bridlington, absolutely nowhere near our planning. He'd driven 50, 60 miles to commit an offence, again at a bookmaker's, and it was a black moment for the inquiry. It was clear that we're going to have to go to Crimewatch and try and flush him out that way.
There's another one-man crime wave going on, this time in Yorkshire, and in this case an armed robber is targeting betting shops.
We showed video of the attacks and we explained how microscopic traces of grey acrylic paint had been found on examination of the glasses. The appeal prompted more than 30 calls that night, but nothing seemed to click. But the next day, one of the detectives was collecting his wife's car from a local garage.
You didn't see us lot on Crimewatch, did you?
I did, yes. It was very good. There's one thing that stood out, and that's the grey primer.
Really?
Very, very few places use a grey primer now. We always use a beige or a similar sort of colour to that.
So you'd use grey primer around here then?
The only place that I could think of is Instant Repair at Normanton.
Instant Repair at Normanton?
Yes.
Boss! Boss!
Dave Medley looked again at the sources of the glasses, the amount of premises they were distributed to, and found out that there were only a limited number of premises. And lo and behold, is the same firm that I'd discovered that morning were using grey primer.
Instant Repair Limited. Instant Repair Limited, this is it. Well done. Let's give him a bell.
Yes, boss.
Once I got hold of the manager, and he gave us the name of Ian Gary Wynne.
I was going to call you. Some of the guys thought they recognised the robber from Crimewatch.
Really? Do you think we could have a look at this fella's shift pattern? His days on and his days off. There's some particular dates that we're interested in. Friday, 1st of November.
He was off.
Monday, the 11th of November.
Off again?
Tuesday, the 19th of November.
Off.
What about Friday, 17th of January?
Off again?
Looks like this is it. Friday, 14th of February.
Oh, no, he was working.
You sure? Saturday, 15th of February.
Working all weekend?
You're absolutely positive.
This is an accurate list. What's the problem?
Can you double check?
Hang on. Win. Win. Here we go. Oh, hang on. It was rotated for that weekend. It took holiday at the last moment.
You're absolutely positive?
Oh, yeah, here's the holiday request form.
Thank you very much indeed.
We actually worked out the odds of him being off for every offence, and it was over 1,000,000 to 1. And I was very confident at this stage that we'd identified the right man. We decided to have a look at him and see what he did during the day when he wasn't working.
Hey, let's check this out.
You're not going to believe this, he's buying a balaclava.
We'd obviously enough to go out and arrest this man, but what were the chances of a successful conviction? We were very limited on the forensic evidence which we had, with no fingerprints, with no identification.
Our man went on the road and he was going to commit robberies. The tension was unbelievable. It was like watching England in a penalty shootout. He was going to do a robbery and then he didn't. He changed towns, he came back to building societies, went to bookies. You almost felt like pushing him through the door.
Right, he's on the move again. North Yorkshire, Harrogate, possibly Knaresborough. Firearms team are on standby.
We saw him go to Knaresborough. He'd done this several times before, and he was still acting very suspiciously. But then, around tea time...
Where is he? Oh, yeah, I've got him.
Target is approaching the travel agents. He's looking in the window of the travel agents now.
I've got this loud and clear.
Target is entered the premises. Target is inside the premises.
Yep.
Stand by, stand by.
He's just flicking through some brochures. Casual, flicking through the brochures. He's going behind the desk, he's gone behind the desk. They've gone in the back.
Then he told us to kneel down, face the wall, don't look round. Then he asked Sue to give him the money, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he asked where the money was.
Yeah.
And he asked me to go and get the money from the front office.
He's coming out. Stand by, stand by. Target is turning left, left, left. Get someone in the shops, find out if the robbery's gone off. You getting him, Carl?
Yeah, he's got a bag,
Hi, it's the police. We know you've been robbed. Is everyone all right?
Target is getting into his car. Arrest him now. Take him out. Go.
Right off.
Hey, get out of the car! Get out! Get out! 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 Get down on the floor! Get down! Lay down! Put your hands behind you! Okay, I'm PC Michaels. We're armed police officers. I've got to tell you, you're under arrest on suspicion of armed robbery. You do not have to say anything, but...
He was obviously interviewed at length. On his first interviews, he actually denied the robbery we'd seen him commit, saying that he'd found the gun and the money in a bag as he was walking past the shop and just picked it up. But over the next few days, he went on to admit many offences in the series.
Okay? Right, I want you to roll over now into a sitting position. Okay, and up.
It turned out Wynn's 6-month crime spree had started to pay for his addiction to gambling, but he'd become addicted to the robberies too. At Leeds Crown Court last September, he pleaded guilty to 5 robberies, 6 firearms offences, and asked for 10 more crimes to be taken into consideration. Because he pleaded guilty, his sentence was reduced. He got 10 years.
Hot goods, in other words stolen goods, are worth only a fraction of their proper value. Even so, this next case seems bizarre. Someone went to a lot of trouble to burgle a manor house in Hertfordshire, took 2 very valuable paintings, and then let one of the pictures go to a car boot sale where it went for 150 quid. It turned up at Rufforth Park in North Yorkshire. And here's the man who sold it. Late 40s, early 50s, fairly short at 5'7", with a weathered complexion and wiry shoulder-length dark hair and a North Yorkshire accent. An auction house valued it at over £50,000, but the Art Loss Register confirmed it had been stolen. This is its sister picture, and watch out too for this, an antique Chinese ornamental vase that's been turned into a lamp. If you've seen them, or him, give us a ring, 0500 600 600, or the incident room on 01462 425 166. That's Hitchin, 425 166. Now, a treasure hunt. We have the treasure. You can have a hunt to see if there's anything that belongs to you or anyone you know. Here's Eric Knowles.
Starting with a pair of corner chairs and their top rails well carved with cherubs and lion mastheads. Now they're continental, and so's this pottery bust. Very Art Nouveau, title Narcisse. More Art Nouveau, this time a German liqueur set with under tray and matching tots, and not to be outdone, an English silver tray of the same period. Plenty of silver in the cave, in fact plenty of metal, and they don't come much bigger than this group of a cowboy and 2 pack horses. Now you'd need a few heavyweights to move these around. In fact, you'd need a few S. Shackles, because in the late 1930s he was a light heavyweight boxer, and we've got his certificates. In fact, we've also got a pair of bronze boxers. Not only have we got bronze boxers, we've got bronze wrestlers, and we've got a couple of pottery grapplers. But if it's a case of Tempus Fugit, here is a long case clock with the dial inscribed R. Henderson of Scarborough, and the door plate complete with little circular windows, so you can make sure you can see that pendulum swinging backwards and forwards. But going down in scale, another bronze. Look at that. Warriors in combat, knights in armour, and it's all getting a bit gruesome. But there again, if you prefer something a little bit more elegant, what about that bronze and ivory figure by Joseph Lorenzel? And when it comes to elegant jewellery, we've got quite a bit of that, including this wonderful emerald ring with diamonds, a sapphire and diamond clip, and a solitaire diamond that's crying out to be some girl's best friend. The question is, was it once your best friend?
Ah, well, if there's anything you recognise, call South Yorkshire Police on 0500 510 999. That's free call, 0500 510 999. And here's the studio number, 0500 600 600. In fact, that number's good for any of our cases. And we're taking calls here until midnight. You'll also see other numbers in a moment, and they're listed on CFAX on page 621 as well. There's no Crimewatch update tonight, but do join us for next month's Crimewatch on Tuesday, September the 8th.
And in the meantime, visit us on the internet. All tonight's cases and a great deal more are on the World Wide Web. The address is bbc.co.uk/crimewatch. In fact, if you're on the internet, you can send us information at Crimewatch UK at the BBC. That's cwuk@bbc.co.uk. And if you've any information on any crime at all, you can call Crime Stoppers, anonymously if you like, on 0800 555 111. Don't have nightmares, do sleep well. Good night.
Good night.